Welcome everyone. So today's video topic is going to be about sluts and the slut syndrome that has been spreading throughout the world, plus how it is impossible to change these women. I'm going to be sharing my experiences plus experiences that I've heard from people, from friends and family, and my observations on how the society is being damaged on a day-to-day basis by the social media and especially by women, because the fact of the matter is, even if women got their looks on point, they lack the consciousness that we men do have. And because of this lack of consciousness, women don't really understand their actions and how their actions would affect other people. And this is what has helped the elites, the corporations, to make money out of these women. You may have noticed that a lot of shops and enterprises, they target women and children. Even advertisements target women and children because in general they are really easy to manipulate. Yes, I know there is a book called The Manipulated Man, in which we read 69 pages of how women manipulate men. But these same women lack the consciousness that I was talking about. And due to that lack of consciousness, they fall into the traps of corporations. And eventually, we men have to pay their bills. Because even if women keep crying that they don't get an equal share in the market and in the employment industry, but they need to realize that any human resource manager who is interviewing a guy and a girl would first look at the things that help him make profits, because the primary goal of a private enterprise is to make profit. So, and most of you would agree with me that men are better at providing results than women when it comes to the corporate work, for that matter. And for example, I would tell you that women I see mostly in workforce are liable to other men because they cannot do their job by themselves. They need some help anytime and anywhere. They'll always look for a man to support them, may it be their job or even the thing that we call marriage. And after divorce itself, the women will ask for alimony, and the court, without any financial background, would charge that man to pay a certain amount of money to the women, and in return, that man gets nothing. And marriage is becoming more of a social contract than it was earlier. And these traces can even be seen in India as well. Because there was a time, like, for example, my parents didn't had to get a marriage certificate to prove that they're married or not. But today, if I get married or any other guy of my age or who is willing to marry has to have a marriage certificate. Like, if he doesn't has a marriage certificate, his marriage becomes illegal, and this is how marriage has come to a piece of paper that decides whether he's married or he's divorced. Because even after you get a divorce, you get a paper from the court that you are legally being divorced. So, coming back to the topic of sluts, I want to tell you guys that before I begin this story, I just want to point out to everyone that this is not to hurt any particular individual, nor this is a particular story of an individual who is listening to this. If you feel guilty, or if you feel that I'm relating a story or I'm relating the story to your own life, then that is not my fault. And if you feel that you are guilty in that story, that means that you have done something wrong. So you have to correct it if you have. So I just want to go back to the Instagram phenomenon, in which Instagram has created a lot of romance problems and relationships problems. I know this for a fact because I have been in some, and I know how it affects a man at a individual level. As a man, and being masculine, I have to be more dominant in whatever I do. Even when I'm with a girl, my role is to be dominant. For example, if you see uh, certain animals and how their mating processes goes, is that the most dominant male gets to fuck the female, and that is how it works. And in that same manner, our human mating styles have developed as well. But Instagram has created a lot of romance problems because every minute the girl is being hit by a guy, and this is not completely the fault of women, but we men are also at fault because we are the ones who go on hitting these women on a day-to-day basis. That is something that we have to stop if we don't expect any sexual favors from these women. And I'll not go into extreme that we should always look for sex from a woman, because there are some liberal men who think that women should be given equal opportunities and emotional support and blah blah blah. But even if a woman can offer you something that you think is worth, then only I feel that you should talk to her, or, you know, build some kind of relationship with her. And so these Instagram women are really very, very obsessed with themselves. And they are so obsessed that even if they lose a bunch of followers, they just freak out in such a way that if you are debating about the thing that how shitty Instagram is and how shitty social media is when it comes to such kind of subject regarding followers and the women, how they post their pictures exposing their bodies, and then guys hitting on them, how this is the negative side of social media and which needs to be stopped if we want to evolve and move forward as a species. When you tell these women about all these things, they just freak out. They start swearing on you and they think that you are some kind of an idiot who is trying to portray their parents or grandparents' role, who always point out their mistakes. But from my point of view, a mistake is a mistake, and it needs to be pointed out. But at the same time, the solutions must be applied so that the problem could be fixed. And finally, before closing this video, I just want to give you guys a bit of a tip that I personally have started following since the last month. I used to think that women have been engineered by corporations and social media to be in such way that we see them today. And we as an individual, as a man, could change these things by opening their eyes to as to what is going on around us. But what I have come to a result is that you cannot change the mentality of women. You can influence a child, you can influence a aged man or women, but you cannot influence these Instagram whoredom and these women who are self-obsessed with themselves and who require a ton of compliments to accept that they exist. So, in such kind of environments, my only tip to you is that you should focus more and more on yourself. If you feel that some other men, or even for that matter, women, could be helped and that would be a help that would work for their betterment of life, like it would improve themselves on a personal level, then please do so. Please help these individuals who have lost their track and who have lost their consciousness in particular. So that's all for now. That is all I had to say. Hope my message was reached to maximum number of people that are curious to know about this topic. Just say no to sluts, or if you are saying yes, then it's just for some sexual pleasures. That's it. Don't go into emotional bondage because the true colors will come out sooner or later. So I don't want any of my men to get hurt by some women and not by a nuclear bomb, because if a nuke hits you, you'll die, and I don't know if you'll reborn or not. But if a girl hurts you, then I've experienced myself. I've experienced my friends how they go into depression and even cry. Like, I've seen men not crying if there is a match going on between India and some other country, but men cry for women. That is something that is unusual because ultimately, if you want to dominate the genders, then you should be really, really focusing on yourself as to what, as an individual, you can be at your maximum potential. And that is what every man should focus on. And that is what MGTOW is all about. So just focus on how you can develop yourself, how you can be the best version, if I was to say. Be your best version, train, lift, eat well, study, improve your knowledge, do whatever fucking best you can. So that's all for now, guys. See you soon. Peace out.